Islam, the second most practiced religion in the world, begins in the 7th century, in a place many people at the time see as unimportant, the desert land of Arabia. The founder of Islam is Muhammad, a merchant born around 570 in the city of Mecca. Around the year 610, in a cave called Hira, he receives messages from the angel Jibril, known in English as Gabriel. These messages later become the foundation of the holy book called the Qur'an. The spiritual truth of Muhammad's message is a matter of faith, but his life and the effect of his message will have great importance in history. At first, Muhammad shares his message privately with a small group of family and friends in Mecca. His message focuses on the oneness of God, the need to live morally, and the meaning of Islam, which means submission to God. Over time, the followers of this new faith become known as Muslims. Muhammad then begins preaching publicly and gains loyal followers known as the Sahaba. Muhammad's preaching brings him into conflict with members of his own tribe, the Quraysh. Soon, the two sides are at open war. Around this time, the idea of jihad begins to develop. Jihad comes to have two meanings. The first, to try hard, to live according to God's will, through personal effort and strong morals. The second, physical acts of war, approved by God. After years of fighting the Quraysh, Muhammad and his followers win. By Muhammad's death in 632, much of Arabia has joined the movement he started. One of Muhammad's closest companions, Abu Bakr, is chosen as the first caliph, or successor to the prophet. Under his leadership, and that of the leaders who follow him, Islam spreads out of Arabia to change the Middle East and beyond. Abu Bakr and the next leader Umar send Arab armies to attack the two great empires of the time, the Sasanian Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire. Both empires are tired from many years of fighting each other, and the Arab armies strike quickly and powerfully. One by one, the great cities of the Levant, Syria, Egypt, and Persia fall to Muslim forces. The people living in these lands are mostly Christians, Jews, and Zoroastrians. These non-believers are ruled by their new Arab leaders and must pay taxes, but they are allowed to worship freely. There are few forced conversions and little active preaching of Islam, and so the religion spreads slowly at first. Until now, the Qur'an has mainly been passed down by memory, with different written copies. The exact details are not clear, but during the rule of Caliph Uthman, the Qur'an is collected into one single book. This becomes the foundation for the holy book used around the world today. In 656, Uthman is killed. The Prophet's cousin and son-in-law, Ali, is chosen as the new caliph, but others support Uthman's cousin, the governor of Syria, Muawiyah. This disagreement begins Islam's first fitna, or civil war. It becomes the root of the later split between Shiite and Sunni Muslims. Shia, from Shiat Ali, the IB party of Ali. Sunni, from al-Sunnah, the people who follow the Prophet's way. In 661, Ali is killed by a group who later become known as the Khawarij. The Umayyad dynasty takes control, moving the capital of the Caliphate to Damascus. In 680, a revolt led by Ali's son Hussein ends at Karbala, where he and his small group of followers are killed by Umayyad forces. This is a very important moment in the change of Shariaism from a political movement into a separate branch of Islam. Shias look to the leadership of Muhammad's direct descendants. Sunnis look back to the time of the Prophet and his companions. The Islamic world, divided by fighting groups, falls into a second fitna. But after 12 years of civil war and trouble, new great conquests follow. By 692, the Umayyads regain control of the Islamic Caliphate, and continue their conquest of North Africa. Islam spreads quickly among the Berber tribes, and it is a Berber convert, Tariq, who leads Umayyad forces into Iberia. On the way, he gives his name to Jabal Tariq, the Rock of Gibraltar. He defeats the Visigoth king, Roderick, and goes on to conquer much of Spain. The Umayyad Empire now stretches from the Atlantic coast to modern Pakistan. Most of its people are still non-Muslim, but more people are converting across North Africa, Persia, and Central Asia, known as Mawali. They are treated as lower in status by the Arab elite, creating anger. In 747, rebellion begins in Khorasan. The Abbasid family, claiming descent from the Prophet's uncle Abbas, claim leadership of this revolt. In 750, they defeat the Umayyads at the Zab River, then carefully destroy almost the entire dynasty. Only one Umayyad prince, Abd al-Rahman, escapes to Al-Andalus, where he creates the independent Emirate of Cordoba in 756. The Abbasids build a new capital, Baghdad, which becomes a great center of learning. This is the beginning of what is often called Islam's Golden Age, with amazing advances in mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and engineering. Shi'ism, now clearly a separate branch of Islam, continues to spread across the Caliphate, even though it sometimes faces pressure from Sunni rulers. Different groups form within Shi'ism, including Twelver Shi'ism, Ismaili Shi'ism, and Zaydi Shi'ism. Sufi movements, which focus on inner spirituality and staying away from worldly distractions, also appear during this time, though their early history is not fully known. By the 900s, much of Persia, Egypt, and Syria has become Muslim. There are practical as well as spiritual reasons for becoming Muslim. Following the religion of the ruling group offers benefits in business, connections, and status. But these regions remain religiously diverse, with large Christian and Jewish communities, and several smaller groups. For many years, Muslim traders have crossed the dry region known as the Sahel into sub-Saharan Africa. Among the goods they buy are enslaved Africans who are sold across the Caliphate. Following these trade routes, Islam slowly spreads south. Over time, as rulers and elites accept Islam, cities like Timbuktu, Gao, and Kano become centers of Islamic learning and culture. Muslim merchants also cross the Arabian Sea and set up trading centers along the East African coast in modern Kenya, Tanzania, and Zanzibar. These ports become busy centers of trade, connecting East Africa to the wider Indian Ocean world. These long-distance trade networks, including the famous Silk Roads, help Islam spread deeper into Central, South, and Southeast Asia. In Central Asia, a semi-nomadic Turkic tribe called the Seljuks converts to Islam, under their leader Seljuk Beg. The Seljuks build their own empire across the Middle East, conquering many cities. In 1055, they capture Baghdad, becoming the real rulers of the Islamic Caliphate. Under the Seljuks, political power and religious leadership are separated. Seljuk sultans hold military and political power. Religious leadership is given to the caliphs and Islamic scholars, called ulama. In 1071, Seljuk Sultan Alp Arslan defeats the Byzantine Empire at Manzikert, opening the way for Muslim control of Anatolia. But Christendom fights back. Pope Urban calls for a holy war to free the Holy Land, and in 1099, Crusaders capture Jerusalem. Crusader states are created in the region, but remain mixed in religion. It is a time of political division in Tweedledal, the Muslim world. Much of the old empire is now ruled by regional dynasties and groups: Seljuks, Ghaznavids, Almoravids, and Fatimids. But in the 12th century, a Kurdish general named Saladin succeeds in uniting Egypt, Syria, and Iraq. In 1187, he recaptures Jerusalem, a great victory for Saladin and a turning point in the war against the Crusaders. Since the 8th century, Muslim merchants and Sufi teachers have traveled the Silk Roads, deep into Central and Eastern Asia. The number of people converting to Islam grows steadily. Among them is Burqa Khan, grandson of Mongol leader Chinggis Khan. Burqa is said to have met a caravan of Muslim merchants at Bukhara and been impressed by their faith. For now, most Mongols still follow their traditional beliefs. In 1258, Burqa's cousin Hulagu attacks Muslim lands in a terrible campaign, leading to the destruction of Baghdad and the killing of the Caliph. But over time, Muslim faith and culture win over the Mongols. Within a century, 3 of the EEB largest Mongol khanates, from Russia to India, accept Islam as their new religion. In Southeast Asia, centuries of contact with Muslim traders also increased the spread of Islam. Around 1267, on the island of Sumatra, the Samudera Pasai Sultanate is founded, becoming a center of Islamic learning and trade. During this time, a new Sufi order appears in the Sultanate of Rum. The Mevlevi order, famous for their whirling dervish ritual, seeks spiritual understanding and slowly grows in popularity. The 14th century sees rival dynasties competing for control in the Muslim heartlands. The Mamluks in Egypt, the Ilkhanati in Persia, and many Turkic states in Anatolia. One of these will soon become one of the greatest Muslim empires ever. The 1300s marked the beginning of a powerful new Muslim empire. Osman I rules a small Turkic state in northwest Anatolia. Through a series of great victories, his successors build the Ottoman Empire in modern Turkey. The Ottomans later move into the Balkans, conquering Bulgaria, Serbia, and Bosnia. Over time, many local people convert to Islam, attracted by economic benefits, legal advantages, and positions in Ottoman government. In 1453, Sultan Mehmed II captures Constantinople. The former center of the Eastern Roman Empire and of Orthodox Christianity becomes an Islamic Ottoman capital. In Southeast Asia, Islam's influence continues to change the religious map. The ruler of Malacca converts in 1414. He takes the title Sultan Iskandar Shah and makes Islam the state religion. Through trade and alliances, the new sultanate helps Islam spread further in the region. In 1478, the Demak Sultanate appears as the first major Muslim state in Java. Meanwhile, in Europe, Granada, the last Muslim stronghold in Iberia, falls to Christian forces in 1492. This ends almost 8 centuries of Muslim rule in Spain. Spanish Muslims and Jews face forced conversion to Catholicism and later expulsion. In 1501, Shah Ismail I conquers Persia. He founds the Safavid dynasty and declares Twelver Shi'ism the state religion. This is why today, Iran is mostly a Shia country. In 1517, Ottoman Sultan Selim I conquers Egypt and the Hejaz. He now controls Islam's 2 holiest cities, Mecca and Medina, and declares himself the new Caliph. The title is held by Ottoman sultans for the next 400 years. In 1526, Babur, a descendant of Chinggis Khan, defeats the Delhi Sultanate. He lays the foundation of the Muslim Mughal Empire, which will rule much of India and its Hindu majority for the next 2 centuries. But in other places, signs appear that Muslim power is starting to weaken. The Russians defeat the Khanates of Kazan, Astrakhan, and Sibir. And Ottoman naval power faces a major setback at the Battle of Lepanto. The highest point of Ottoman expansion comes a century later, at the failed siege of Vienna. From this time on, the 2 great Muslim empires, the Ottoman and Mughal, face growing challenges from internal problems and outside enemies. In 18th century Arabia, the reform movement called Wahhabism begins. known for questioning many traditional Islamic beliefs and practices. It gains political power through an alliance with the Al Saud family, rulers of the first Saudi state. The 19th century is a time of strong European colonial expansion. Its targets include several Muslim lands, such as Algeria, Libya, Egypt, and Sudan. In many places, Islam becomes an important part of resistance to Christian colonial rule. Colonialism also helps create a new reform movement, Salafism, which calls for a return to the ways of the early Muslim community. Some of its followers turn to armed jihad to fight those they see as occupiers and oppressors of Muslims. After the Ottoman defeat in World War I, Turkish leader Kemal Ataturk tries to guide the country toward a more secular future. As part of this change, in 1924 he ends the Ottoman Caliphate, a title Turkish rulers had claimed for 4 centuries. The major political changes of the 20th century, world wars, communist revolutions, and decolonization, greatly changed the political map of Islam. In August 1945, Indonesia declares independence from Dutch colonial rule. It becomes home to the world's largest Muslim population. As the British Empire pulls back, it leaves behind new divisions. In 1947, the partition of India creates the Muslim-majority states of West and East Pakistan, which later becomes Bangladesh. In 1948, the new Jewish state of Israel is created in what had been British Mandate Palestine. In 1979, the Iranian Revolution removes the Shah and creates a Shia Islamic Republic, led by Ayatollah Khomeini. In Purdue, the late 20th century, old colonial ties and economic migration lead to the growth of Muslim communities across Western Europe and North America. Muslims become an important part of Western society. Even as on the world stage, dangerous new tensions appear. In 2001, a militant group called Al-Qaeda attacks the Twin Towers in New York. Suddenly, in much of the West, Islam is seen as a threat, criticized by some media and politicians. A gap grows between how most Muslims see their religion and how some people in the West see it. Tensions between religious and political extremists continue in the West today. There have also been serious conflicts between governments and some Muslim groups in Russia, Myanmar, ongoing persecution in China, and an increasing conflict in Israel, Palestine. These are not the first crises in Islam's 1400-year history, a time in which the religion has shown great strength and ability to adapt. Carried by traders and conquerors, it has traveled to faraway lands, from Iberia to Indonesia, bringing people together and inspiring the rise of great civilizations. Whether seen through faith or history, the rise of Islam is one of the most remarkable journeys in human history. Its legacy continues in the 1.9 billion Muslims in the world today. Do you enjoy these history videos and want to support our work? Then be sure to check out our Patreon page for new episodes, production updates, and special rewards. Patreon is the place to see all our videos first, often weeks before they appear on YouTube. You can also watch our entire collection without ads or interruptions. All this for just $1 per video. And if you want more rewards, check out our other membership levels. You can listen to music scores, vote on future topics, get discounts on merchandise, and chat with other history fans in the forum. Even as a free Patreon member, you get access to our regular newsletter, with production updates and sneak peeks of upcoming videos. Our loyal Patreon supporters, now more than 2,000 and growing, have made these videos possible. If you want to support us so we can create even bigger and better content in the future, joining us on Patreon is the best way to help. Go to patreon.com/EpichistoryTV to choose your membership level and get your rewards right away. Special thanks to our historical consultant, Professor Andrew Marsham of the University of Cambridge. Thanks, as always, to the Patreon supporters who make this work possible. From builders like Galvatron 530, Bryce Townsend, and Lewis Underwood, to citizens like Emil Hanberg, Ryan Muirhead, and Vitek Stybor, and heroes like Michael Grantham. Join them by supporting us on Patreon, where you will get early, ad-free access to new videos, special updates, and votes on future topics.